Hi, I'm Afia Yana, and welcome to your Rise and Shine yoga practice. Today's yoga practice is focused on yoga for releasing stored emotions. So, today's practice is going to be helping us lower the cortisol response, which is the stress hormone our body produces when it is not happy. So, we're going to be doing lots of movement and breath to get us in the mode to kind of shake some of that loose out of our bodies and get ourselves back in a lively state. So to begin with, let's start at the front of our mat with our feet hip width distance apart, inhaling the arms up above the head, and exhale, bending forward, hanging down, exhaling, and inhale up to flat back, then exhale back, bending the knees, gathering the hands up above the head, exhaling hands back to heart center. So inhale, hands up above the head. Exhale, hinge forward, releasing the breath, bending the knees. Inhale, sliding the feet, arms up the front of the feet and legs. Exhale, bending forward and releasing. Inhale, gathering up some new energy. Exhaling, hands back to heart center. So if there's anything that's stressing you out right now, inhale, just think of new, fresh energy coming up, washing over your body as you exhale, bending forward, bending the knees. Inhale, drawing that energy up from the ground, up the front of your legs. Fresh new energy to flat back. Exhale, bending forward. And inhale, back up. Hands up above the head. Hand back to heart center. One more time, beautiful. Inhale, extending. Exhale, releasing on the forward fold, hinging at the hips. Try to get that fullness of the breath. Inhale, up to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And then just let yourself hang out here in forward fold. You might grab a hold of both elbows, keeping a micro bend in the knees. You can even sway back and forth from side to side. And just think of releasing the head and the neck, especially if you've been working on a computer or doing a lot of manual labor today in any type of way. Sometimes stress really creeps up into the ears and the traps through the hands. And exhale, releasing the head, giving it a gentle shake back and forth. Yes, please. Side to side. No, thank you. And then on the exhale, gently straightening the legs, keeping a micro bend in the legs. And then if you can, reaching the hands behind you, interlacing the fingertips. And then on the exhale, bending the knees, resting the body on the torso on the hamstrings. And we'll rest here, hanging out in this deep sitting back as if you're sitting in a chair, thighs parallel to the floor. And at the same time, someone's reaching, pulling the arms down towards the floor in front of you. Breathing deep into your belly, pressing into all four corners of the feet here. Nice deep inhalation, full exhalation. You might even lift the head up so that it's then parallel with the floor here. And then on the exhale, releasing the arms back down, hands back down towards the tailbone, taking the opposite thumb on top here, interlacing the fingers, and then inhaling the arms forward one more time. Inhaling the arms flat so that they come towards above the top of the head. Sitting back in that chair, really keeping the thighs glued to the torso. Breathing here, the thighs might begin to burn. That's beautiful. That means you are doing this correctly. Inhaling as we get straight into it. And then on the exhale, releasing the hands back towards the tailbone. Straightening the legs up, unreleasing the hands, letting the arms shake back and forth, hang down, and bending the knees. And slowly, very slowly, taking 8 counts, 7, 6, to roll all the way up, tucking the tailbone under. Shoulders are the last thing to come up. 5, 4, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. 3, 2, the head and the neck, the last thing to come up, palms facing forward. And then closing the eyes here as the blood pressure stabilizes. Coming into a nice 3-count breath, inhaling in through the top of the head. Filling up the bottom of the lungs, the middle of the lungs, the top of the lungs. And then taking a full deep exhalation with the eyes closed, allowing the breath to leave the top, middle, then bottom part of the lungs. As the belly button draws back towards the spine. Taking that deep inhalation and exhalation, feeling the feet grounded on the ground as the palms shine forward, the heart shines up towards the sky. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, coming facing forward, feet parallel underneath the hips, inhaling the hands up above the head, grabbing a hold of the, actually placing both feet so that they're pressing together, the left hand grabs a hold of the right wrist, inhale, elongating and straightening out, and exhale over to the left side, bending. Poking that right hip out, feeling the stretch coming all the way from the right calf up into the right hip, up into the right side of the body, the ribs, all the way up to the wrist. And if that's too much for your head, you can look down towards your feet. So inviting ourselves to, as we move a little bit quickly in this practice from one movement to another, anchor in the breath. Notice what happens to the body and the mind as we really claim the breath as our anchor and our grounding away from stress. And on the exhale, releasing back to neutral, sweeping the arms down. Inhale, the right arm across the body, hooking the left arm and looking over the right shoulder. To get double duty here, then exhale, sitting back as if you're sitting in your chair here. Belly button back towards spine as you look over this right shoulder. Really think about, can you bring the weight back in the heels and sit back down in your imaginary chair as you look over this right shoulder. Nice full deep breaths, you're doing great. Grounded through the feet, legs moving parallel, sitting another inch down towards the ground. As the belly button moves back towards the spine, engaging the quads as you engage in the belly button. That breath anchoring into the center of the core. When we're inhalation here, and on the exhale, straightening the arms, bringing the legs straight, arms up above the head. Then coming back to both feet pressed together. This time grabbing a hold of the left wrist, poking out the left hip, the legs glued together and bending over to the right side. Grounding into the left heel, the right heel evenly. And noticing the stretch might be a little different on one side than the other. Looking down towards the right toes. Nice and tall, making sure that you don't have the tailbone poked out here, that you're really extending out of the left side of the ribs, the intercostal muscles. Exhaling, belly button back towards spine. One more breath here. Seeing if you can come down another centimeter or two down on the right side towards the floor. And then on the exhale, releasing that back to center. Exhaling the hands down. Beautiful. And this time bringing the left arm across the body, hooking the right arm under in a figure four. And then when you're ready, sitting back in that chair. The feet glued together, knees back in parallel, really sitting back in your chair here and looking over that left shoulder. And notice as you ground into your feet, keeping a nice 45-degree in the ankle here, and pull up on the tailbone, tucking the tailbone as if you had a tail between the legs, elongating through the lower back here so that the lower back doesn't curve out, but literally the tailbone tucks back towards the spine, or belly button tucks back towards the spine. Beautiful. Taking one more breath here. Deep inhalation, full exhalation as you sit back in your chair, 1 more inch. And then on the exhalation, straightening the arm, straightening the legs, washing the arms up above the head. Beautiful. And exhale, arms coming out to the side and hands back to heart center. Beautiful. We'll come back to the front of the mat here, inhaling the arms up, exhaling forward. Hands come down towards the ground. Inhale the right knee back, bringing the right palm down onto the ground. If it's comfortable for you, keeping this right knee lifted, and then opening up the heart towards the left side. Left hand up towards the ear. Inhaling into your proud chest. You might even look down towards your hand, squeezing the knees together as if they're reaching towards the midline of the body. Exhaling the left arm down, and then walking the right foot up. Exhaling forward. Bending both knees. And on the inhale, reach, gather, hands back to heart center. The opposite side, inhaling up, gathering, exhale, releasing. Any tension out, pressing the hands into the ground as you lift that left foot back up and behind you. Planting the left hand down on the ground, and this time lifting the right fingertips up into the air. Squeezing the knees together towards the midline of the body. Belly button back towards spine. Strong through your core as you look up towards those right fingertips. And then on the exhale, bringing the right hand, palm down on the ground, bending the left knee, bringing it up to meet the right foot. Exhale forward. And inhale, standing up. Arms above the head, washing out the breath. Hands back to heart center. One more time, inhaling up. We'll build on that and then exhaling forward. Hands come down to the ground. Inhale, bending the right foot, bringing it back. Right hand grounds onto the ground. Inhaling the left arm up into the air. And this time we're going to circle the left arm around. So inhale, it comes to the highest point. Exhaling the arm back down towards the hips. Inhale, sweeping it around, perhaps following the fingers with the gaze. Inhale up, exhaling the hand behind. As you make sure you're sinking down into that 90-degree angle on the front left leg. And one more time, inhaling the arm up and around and exhaling it back down. Beautiful. Then bringing the right knee down onto the ground, coming back into your runner's lunge. You can lift the left toes up into the air, inhaling your body up, placing the right toes onto the ground, and exhale, extending over the leg. On the exhalation, we'll dynamically move through this. So inhale, pushing up, elongating, the head comes up, and on the exhale, creasing at the waist, bending the elbows, reaching forward. And one more time, equal weight in the hips here, inhaling up, pressing into the fingertips, into behind that part, and exhale forward. Then shifting the left knee forward to a 90-degree angle. Right toes tuck under. And on the inhale, lifting, bending the right knee to meet up to the left. Exhale forward. Inhale, coming up to standing. Exhaling, hands back to heart center. Beautiful. We'll do the other side. Inhale up. Exhale, bending, hinging forward. Inhale, bringing the left foot back this time. Left hand comes onto the ground, right fingertips up into the air. And on the exhale, swinging the arm back. Inhaling it up and around, following the fingertips with the gaze. Make sure you're really pulling in towards the midline of the body, squeezing the knees together here, essentially inhaling so that you're not loading too much into your lower back or lumbar spine. Inhaling the arm up and around, following your gaze. See if you can really press out, extend another centimeter or two out the back of the left heel, while simultaneously squeezing the knees together towards the midline. Inhaling, beautiful. Exhale, bring that right fingertip down to the ground. Left knee comes down to the ground on the exhale. Top of the foot, left foot comes onto the ground, and then bringing the hips back, squaring off the heel, the hips, bringing the right heel up off of the ground for your runner's lunge here. Inhaling up to your fingertips to flat back, and exhale, extending your heart forward down towards your knee. Inhale up to flat back. Exhale, extending forward. Hinging at the hips. Inhale, elongating through the back of the neck and the spine, pressing up into the fingers. Exhale, extending all the way forward, squeezing the knees and the elbows in towards the midline. Inhale, bending the right knee to a 90-degree angle, shifting the weight up. Untucking the back left toe. On the inhalation, bringing the left toe up to meet the right. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, straightening both the arms and the legs to come to standing. Inhaling, hands back to heart center. Beautiful. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, cascading forward. And this time bending both knees, bringing both feet back, and we're going to stay here in plank for 5 strong breaths. Inhale, deep into your center of your belly. If this is too much for you, you can come, create a nice same position from the knees, inhaling into the center and exhale. 3 more breaths here. Inhale, breathe up into the back of your proud back. Notice if your hips coming all the way back, that's downward dog. We want to push the hips a little bit lower to the ground to parallel, rotating the shoulders up and down and back, even through the breath. You're doing great. 1 more inhalation here. Fiercely exhaling out that hormone of stress. You might even blow it out the mouth. 1 more inhalation. If you're shaking, this is fantastic. Exhale out the mouth. Beautiful. And then bring the knees down to the ground. Fantastic. Knees wide, toes together, and exhale down to child's pose. Really releasing. How quickly can you release into this pose? Gather this rest while we have it here for a second. Releasing. Maybe even exhaling out the mouth with the horse lips or fluttered lip. 1 more deep breath into the back of the heart. Fantastic. And then exhale, coming back up into tabletop here. Inhaling the head up into cat position, breathing into the front of the belly, making some space here. And then exhale, looking back towards the tailbone. Heart popping up towards the ceiling. Inhale, opposite pose, tailbone and head up towards the sky. And exhale, tucking the tailbone under, looking back towards the belly button. Maybe a little bit faster, you might pump the energy back and forth. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down, faster or slower, depending on what's available for you. But if you would like to continue to pump through the spine in this quicker fashion, like you're pumping water out of a well, it's similar to a Kundalini Kriya here. Quick, sharp inhalation through the nose, inhale in and out the nose simultaneously. As you're tucking the tailbone, and slowly 3 more breaths. 2 and 1. Coming back towards neutral. Beautiful here. And then coming back into your plank position here. If you need to, you can bring the right knee down onto the ground and the right hand comes to the center of the mat and lifting, tracing the left arm all the way up the inside of the right forearm to the armpit, across the heart and chest, and opening it up to the sky into a side plank or Vashisthasana pose. If you'd like more here, you can lift up your right leg so both legs are parallel one to another. If you like more here, you can bend your left leg, or you could even go as far as lifting it up into the air and grabbing hold of your toe. Whatever's available for you, just making sure the heart is shining forward, looking up towards that left palm. Inhalation here and exhalation. On the exhale, reaching down underneath your armpit. Inhale, open up across the heart. Exhale, compress. Hand comes under the sideways. Exhale, open. Inhale, compress. And exhale, open. Beautiful. Bring the left palm down to the ground. Knees come down. Back to your child's pose. Toes together, knees apart. Taking 2 breaths here. Rolling out the wrists. Beautiful. Releasing that compression in the wrist. Breathing into the back of the heart. And on your next inhalation, coming back up to your plank. This time on the opposite side. So we'll move the left hand to the center of your mat, opening up the right arm up across, tracing it all the way up the side, inside of the left arm, underneath the armpit, across the heart, across all the way up into the sky. You can place that left knee down on the ground if you like to, elongating through both sides. Breathing into your proud chest. If you're really starting to heat up here, you can inhale in through your nose and release some of that heat out the mouth. But if you'd really like to burn through some of that stress hormone, I encourage you to inhale in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. On the next inhalation, arm up towards the sky, and exhale, bringing the arm down to the side waist, left side of the waist. Inhaling the arm across the chest open. Exhale, drawing the hand down, weaving it to the inside of the left hip. Inhale, open. Exhale, compress. Inhale, open. Head back up towards the sky. Exhale, compress. One more time. Inhale, open. Beautiful. You're doing great. And exhale, bringing that right arm down to the ground. Knees down to the ground, toes together, and come back to your child's pose. Beautiful. Breathing deep into your hips, to the back of the heart. Perhaps placing the palms so they're facing up towards the sky. Back of the hands press into the ground to give your shoulders an opposite stretch here. Seeing how quickly can you calm down the breath, calm down this simulated stress response by elongating the length of the inhalation and the exhalation. Beautiful. Let's come up to sitting. The feet out in front of you for one last position here into bound ankle pose or Baddha Konasana. And we're going to take some stirring of the pot. So exhaling forward, bending the elbows push down into the inner thighs, exhaling back, and beginning to just rotate around the spine. Stirring up any stagnation in the base of the spine. If you've been doing a lot of sitting today, this can feel really good for your lower back. You might begin with some really tiny circles, almost the size of a quarter, and then extending to the size of a saucer, and then the size of an umbrella as you really begin to move and groove around the base of your spine here. And then switch directions. Again, beginning tiny if that feels good for you. And noticing, can you really keep the chin parallel to the ground? Well, moving around the spinal column here. Making sure to engage the core muscles. Grounding through the base of the spine. Keeping equal weight in both hips. Trying to keep both hips on the ground as you're moving around. And making the circle a little bit larger. And then even larger, moving around the whole circumference of the upper body, as wide as the knees perhaps, and slowly letting that come back to neutral. Slowing down, sitting up nice and tall. We can end the practice here in this bound angle pose. So butterflying the knees out. If you need more space in your hips, feel free to draw the toes away from the hips, or if you feel more open in your hips, you can grab a hold of your ankles here. Using the elongation of the spine to allow the spine to reach up, heart to reach up towards the ceiling, rotate the shoulders up and down and back. And taking some nice deep breaths here into the front of the chest, front of the neck. Breathing completely into your being. Placing the hands in front of the heart and giving thanks to yourself for showing up today and doing the work in your practice. Namaste and Ashe.